Welcome back to FFB amigos. And today Chelsea get the business done. It's business time. We're getting it done. A lot of Chelsea fans are still complaining, but we won 1-0. We make it through past Copenhagen. We are still in the Conference League, still en route to meet our objective of winning it. Happy days. Doesn't matter how, if you're grinding out the results, you're going to have the support of the real Chelsea fans. Of course, there's a lot of things to complain about. There's a lot of things that we don't like. Let's get into it a little bit with the game. Let's look at it. Let's go through it really quick. All right. So first the lineup came up, and we saw some interesting stuff. Number one, Jorgensen is back in goal. We love seeing Jorgensen back in goal. But maybe for the wrong reasons. Right? Because we might play Jorgensen today because that means we might play Sancho against Arsenal. Okay, hopefully not. But in any case, it was good to see him there. I always prefer him play. And a Champong in, really lovely surprise. Weird thing, playing on the left side, which meant I thought immediately he's going to spend most of the game inverted, which he did. But that exposed us on a very weak left side that we had there for a while because you had Sancho on defense at the top. Then you had, trying to provide cover on that wing to an Champong that is not his real solid position. And on that left-hand side out of the two DMs, it was also Fernandez, which is the weaker of the midfielders in defense. So we were exposed and we kind of saw that. And the midfield looked pretty stacked. Even though we had Dewsbury-Hall, we did have Caicedo, which of course played amazing, and we had Fernandez. But he didn't have a good first half. Fernandez, that is. Because Caicedo always has an amazing half, middle, whole game, 90 minutes, extra time, wherever you put him. He's an animal, he's a beast, and he proved it today. But as soon as I saw that, my only thought was, why does not James or Mugu start or split the time with Caicedo? Fine, because I always felt we might not get the result quick because we don't have much firing power right now. And he would end up playing a long time, which we did. In any case, at the very beginning, at the 3rd minute, there was a bit of a scare. They had a good attack, and their heading was poor from Copenhagen, but they had a good one. Same thing in the 15th, same thing in the 20th. I have all these notes. I'm not going to bore you with those guys, but pretty much they were doing as expected, as you have to do with Chelsea, which is hold back, drop deep, counter wide. And they had a lot of success on both wings, mostly, though, on our left-hand side because of what I explained earlier. The only man, because I saw Enzo really trying, but he was being very imprecise. Dewsbury-Hall was a little bit lost as far as the creatives. We weren't getting nothing concise from the wings. And the only man is always Caicedo being a monster, cutting the play, putting in things, and even working on the offensive side when the others are not there. So we saw that a little bit. In the first of the half, I pulled up the stats. So this is where we were at for first half. And this is why a lot of Chelsea fans are pissed off and upset. Because there were times where Chelsea would not have many shots on target. And they always go back to, people cherry picking, right? It's like, there was a time where everybody said we had shitty, ugly football, style of football. But that was the same time that we were winning, the most clean sheets, Premier League titles, making it to semifinals, playing in the Champions League. We're one of the most feared teams to play against. They hated playing against this ugly team. This is not the same thing as having possession and getting scored on by lame teams and actually being very lame against very weak opposition. That's not the same thing. The conversation is kind of gearing towards that right now. You can probably get away with a style that the fans don't want, to have the love of the fans. That if you're giving them titles, or if you're giving them wins, or if you're giving them a shitload of grit, which is what we saw in that Chelsea of old. But if you're not doing that, and you don't play pretty, and you're just doing this possession game and just pushing the ball around the field, you're not going to have many fans that they're going to get excited about that. So the first half was a tragic example of that. We had Tyreek George, which I was really happy to see him too, trying, but again, no clear patterns of play. We struggled, and these are the stats. We had 53 to 47 possession. So even that was shit, to be honest with you. And then shots. Copenhagen 4, Chelsea none. Shots on target, only Copenhagen. Chelsea, 0. We made it through 45 minutes against weaker opposition, quote unquote. And you're going to say, no, but whatever you're going to say. First of all, I don't consider it a shit cup. I want to win it. I'm in it to win it. I'm excited about it. I'll be so happy if we win it and when we win it, hopefully. We got to take all these things seriously. That's our Chelsea DNA. We win anything. We're going to play a coin toss. We're winning. So it was pretty disappointing to see that kind of performance in the first half, having so much superior firepower. And I think I bring that down to coaching again. We don't have, of course, some players sifted on, but I don't see any patterns of play that can play against that low block again. So imagine if somebody that's a little bit better than us comes to Stamford Bridge and does that. Well, I guess we'll see in the upcoming games. We're excited that Arsenal will open up against us, and finally we'll have an open team to play against, which we can score on. But can we? We're not scoring right now. So then you're just open wide for no reason. And today, the reaction in the first half that I saw Enzo Maresca when things weren't going well, he pushed the line even further. The back line, our high line to a higher line, risking a counter, which we saw a couple of times. That against a better team, and is going to do well. But anyway, corners, even Copenhagen had 3, we had 0. Touches in the opposition box, Copenhagen 10, Chelsea 2 or 3. Imagine that. So that's how poor we were in that first half. Look, I was excited. I'm still rooting for the team. I'm not trying to shit. I'm not trying to say Maresca out. I'm just calling out some realities. I totally support the team, and I'm all there. In the second half, Cucurella comes on, and that brings a lot of things. Not only bringing a left player to the left player, but one of the only players in the world that can play this position in this game that Maresca wants, and he's excellent in it. And he actually did something very interesting, in my opinion. He widened the field. He did not come in to play through the middle as he does sometimes. We played more like when we play the line of 3 in the back, and he wasn't inverted towards the center and running into the 9 position, but he was actually giving width to the pitch, which is what the game called for. So he did an amazing job on that, and that was clever. And we also we took off Enzo and put on Palmer. So Enzo gets some rest, and Palmer got some rest as well. And we'll get into Palmer again in a minute. But in any case, on the 54th minute, Kieran, Dewsbury-Hall, Wedding Hall, whatever, everybody's got kind of weird name for him, gets his goal after being very persistent, which I think that's what the game called for. We're like passing that shit ball around and nothing's ever going to happen. Well, he took it upon himself to try to play through a la Noni Madueke. And he was very lucky. He was fortunate. But I think that comes when you're pushing, when you're insistent. He got a little bit of ball, bounced off him a little bit. But he took on 1 player, 2 players. Then they got into a little bit of a tussle. The ball bounced a little bit loose, but he controlled it and was able to finish quite well against the keeper and doing much needed. And then we can finally breathe. So that Copenhagen was actually forced to attack, but I appreciate their discipline because they didn't completely lose their minds. Minute 66, Nkunku comes on for Sancho, which probably means Nkunku is a starter in the next game. Again, not excited about that. One of those things I don't see eye to eye with Maresca, but the man knows better than me. And maybe all this is lining up the Sanchez and the Nkunkus. Those are the things to disagree with because these are going to be the star players against Arsenal. And on the next 10 games of the season where we're going to go and win it and guarantee our top 4 place and maybe even ahead of Arsenal. Dreams. You can dream if you want to. In any case, I'm already getting annoyed though when Nkunku comes in because I'm like, why is Caicedo still on? That man doesn't get any rest ever. Long story short, he finally did today, and when in the 78th minute, Reece James comes in what's a like-for-like substitute nowadays. Who would have thought? Reece James comes in as a solid DM to replace a DM. Then that's exciting to see, and I just think he should have come in a little bit early if you ask me. Then in the 87th minute, I saw Neto do something lovely, which I like. He's got the legs. I'm really liking that player. He's really covering a position that is not his starting position or his strength. But in the counter, that guy is so fucking fast, man. So fast. That counter is amazing. And he passes the ball on to a Palmer that we know. He's not there, amigos. He's just not there. So he misses an opportunity. And actually, a few minutes wide before that, he takes another shot wide, which was a pretty clear opportunity to at least work the keeper. So sad. I know he got criticized on after a match that we won. He actually put on his socials like, "Don't worry, guys, I'll be back," as opposed to celebrating the team win regardless of his individual performance. But I get it, and we're very patient with him, and he have been, and we will. And Cole, I think there's times you should have been benched to give rotations when you're not on a hot streak, and I think you could benefit from that. But yeah, we know how good you are, and we wanna make sure that you continue to play, and hopefully you're done with your little bad patch, and things turn around on this upcoming game that we have. So in any case, another exciting thing, Neto comes off, which that actually worried me. I wish I would have rested him earlier because he's our engine room. He's driving the line. He's the fastest player. He's going to be the fastest on the counter. He is the fastest because now we're stuck with Sancho. In terms of wing play, we don't have much. Sancho's not even himself off, so he's not going to beat anybody on the counter against Arsenal, I believe. Not realistically, unless he's up against just one-on-one with Saliba or something like that on speed. So I think speed might be important if Arsenal pin us a little bit in the back, and we need his legs and his lungs, which honestly that's what this comment is about. Pretty impressive. Minute 87, he does this amazing run that I mentioned earlier. But he comes off, and we have this, I think, 17-year-old kid, Antwi, come in, which I found a little bit surprising that he would come in, but very exciting because he came in into, I don't even know, but I heard he's sort of like a defensive player, but he came up to play at top. It doesn't matter where. That guy is willing to be on the field and play any position and do whatever they need him to. So really happy every time there's a Chelsea youngster coming on. That's very exciting. The last few seconds, look, during the game we weren't that organized. I think defensively we got a little bit lucky. In the last few seconds we're lucky we didn't concede it, but we got a clean sheet. And I know against inferior opposition and all that, but we're always excited, and it's something to build on. And I think finally we're going to come up again. This is so funny. Right now we're saying, Chelsea haven't done well because they can't play against these teams that are all closed up. In other words, against poor opposition, inferior opposition in the table, that's like a huge struggle. So some people are relieved. It's like, okay, now we get to play against Arsenal. That seems like a horrifying sort of thought, if you ask me personally. Because also we don't have Madueke, which is fast in the line, dribble, head-on kind of a player. And we don't have, as much as you guys were hating on him, and you know how much we miss him now, in Jackson. And we don't have a Cole in form. So, yeah, if you do get your 3-4 chances against Arsenal and you don't take them, you're going to lose 3-0 probably. Because we're not that sharp on keeping the clean sheets. And with all the changes that we have, maybe we're lucky and everybody shines and shows up that day because of the energy. But we haven't had a back four that has been stable either, with Fofana being out, Nabadeshili being back, Chalobah not even started the season with us and now being here. So we're not even established in that sense. But I believe that these players are going to get very excited about that game. And that's what we want to see. Cojones, huevos, balls, grit, fight in that game. It'll make us so happy if we win. But if we don't, and that's okay, I actually believe that Arsenal are in a better place and they have a more complete team as we stand. So I'm okay if it doesn't go our way, as long as the passion, the grit, and the fight are there. So please, everybody, like, subscribe, and comment. And I'm very excited. I have a little bit of a work thing, I'm going to be honest. So I don't know if I'll be able to make the video immediately after the game. But I'm so excited to watch it. I am at this work thing. I may have to take a 90-minute bathroom break because I'm not going to miss that game, amigos, this Sunday. So I'll certainly be watching it. And it might be a little late with the uploading of the video. So please subscribe, because I might need to try to make a living out of this if I lose my job for watching Chelsea games. But I know what I want, and I know what I love, and I know what I'm passionate about, so I'm so happy to be doing this for you guys. In any case, Chelsea, again, job well done. We made it to the next round in the Conference League. We're hoping to win it. We're passionate about it. And yes, we're still in that race, and yes, we're going to win it. And yes, we're in the race for top four, no matter what Maresca or anybody else said before. We're always in a race to win absolutely everything that we can and give it all the huevos and the balls that we have, and we're going to do it. And as always, you Chelsea fans, keep supporting our teams. I see a lot of hate out there. You can have the hate and complain about the strategy and complain about the owners and all that, but you do not cease to love those that wear our shirt as long as they're fighting it and they're trying. And there's players out there. You got Caicedo, the best midfielder in the world, putting the passion. You have Enzo Fernandez, who seems to be caring now, which I was against, and I hated this guy before. But he's showing the balls. He's showing that he cares to the fan. When things have been tough, he's the only one that came up to us. You see Trevor back. You see a lot of players that are putting in the passion. Things are not there yet. And not all of them, this comment doesn't apply to all of them, but there's a lot of them that deserve all love and suspect. So, love and suspect. A little Freudian slip there. And respect. So please, love and respect to them. And to the Chelsea players, if you're watching, as always, come on, you Blues.